Hey guys, welcome to Universe X TCG, and today we are here to talk about Dragon Ball Super, the card game's newest ban list. And I find it kind of weird because I've been a little out of the competitive loot for Dragon Ball for quite a little bit since like the start of One Piece, and a lot of my subscribers, people in the Discord, have asked me if I can make a ban list video. So I was like, why would you want to hear my opinion? But luckily, looking over this ban list, a lot of this is not actually as in depth with the game as some of the other hits have been. A lot of it is actually quite straightforward and easy to understand. So I'm gonna jump right into that and give you guys my takes and just kind of explain why these hits happen, because I think it's actually pretty easy for anybody that's followed the game for quite a bit of time. Now, I do want to say before we get in there, if you want to support the channel, all you got to do is like the video, comment, let your voice be heard, and create a dialogue. Subscribe if you haven't already, join the UniX fam, and then hit that notification button so you never miss a beat. You can check the description for a link tree where you can find plenty of things such as like my Twitch, other channels for other different cool things in the gaming industry. You've got the new Facebook group I actually put up for this, where we're gonna post plenty of things about TCG, news, alt arts, all sorts of stuff, polls. Just another place for us to connect, the Discord, all these things. So with that being said, let's actually just start talking about the ban list. So first and foremost, looking at this ban list, I think Bandai chose a very, very bold move that actually is going to pay off a lot when it comes to the playability of their future cards and just generally the happiness of the players who have been feeling like the format's been stale for about 2 sets now. At this point, three sets now. Yeah, a full 3 sets now. Going on 4. It's been kind of a while. We have been kind of sitting under the thumb of the same 3 to 4 decks this entire time. And it's interesting because there's multiple reasons that kind of differ from polar end to polar end on why these decks have had the collective grip on the metagame that they have had. So the funny part about this is that while I can say I'm happy, I can't say I'm overjoyed, because while this was a long time coming, it's just crazy that changes like this can be made when cards like Swift Retaliation Cooler are just chilling here like this. Like, seriously, we saw a Champa and Supreme Kai ban before Cooler, the card sometimes enabling the most ignorant ways of just stealing a game with said cards even got touched. It's actually crazy. But I digress. There were a lot of good hits on this list, and I just want to explain why they happened. So let's actually start talking about the primary just culprits here and why. So first and foremost, we have Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in it together. Now, a lot of people know that the decks that came out of the Dawn of the Z Legends, basically SS4s and Shenron, have been rampant. They have made Red feel stronger than ever, and there's a reason for that. But it's really funny because both of these leaders are broken for the opposite reasons. And when I say broken, I'm actually not just speaking like mechanically broken, which in many cases, yes, there were a lot of strong points that borderline, if not were broken, but they were also dev nightmares. And when I say this, I mean, look at SS4, Son Goku, and Vegeta. Permanent, you can use your mono red rest mode sand cards and combos, okay? This first line is actually the most snapped thing. As well as permanent, your Gogeta GT cards can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode, and whenever your Gogeta GT cards attacks your opponent's battle cards, your opponent skips their defense step. This was made in good faith. However, the issue with this is it's too generic. Now, whenever you make a red Saiyan, you have to cross-reference it with this leader to make sure it's not too snapped and anything. There might be a red Saiyan that can do something specific, a floodgate, so to speak, when it's in rest mode. Now you gotta wonder if it's too strong with this particular card. This card is going to be able to use that floodgate effect, but also combo it off if it ever gets in a pinch. Combined with the Z leader that has it pushing a 100,000 barrier, you're left with a deck that can adapt frighteningly well to any sort of situation. It's constantly going to be drawing cards. It's constantly going to be cycling. Its offensive and defensive combo are king, and it's going to be able to incorporate any generic red sand into its arsenal with maximum efficiency. And because of that, and the fact that you can't even make Gogeta GT cards without having to make sure they can't be abused by a leader like this is one of the reasons why it had to go. Bandai doesn't normally kill leaders outright. They normally do erratas, they hit certain cards. But a card like this is so generic that it is almost impossible to errata. You have to keep hitting more and more cards in the deck. And at this point, unless you're going to start limiting commons and uncommons, this deck will always thrive in some capacity, much to the same sort of capacity that it already does. So it had to go. Next card, you got Sin Shinron, Despair Made Manifest, and this one is the exact opposite. Sin Shinron is almost to a fault a keyword, or sorry, an archetype specific archetype. Like, you don't really shove too many things that aren't Sin Shinron cards into the deck. There are texts, there are, just bridging staples. But a lot of this deck worked out of the box with the cards it was given, and therein lies its problem. It is very hard for devs to trim a deck that is completely archetype, especially when the archetype's power is not spread or is not focused on one or two cards. It's spread across the entire archetype. Whether you're hitting, the Dread Destroyers for one and starting to ruin your opponent's life, whether you're, hitting crit, which I know that thing is not the same anymore. But the point is, there are bits and pieces of power sprinkled all over this archetype that come together cohesively. There are target cards, but you hit one and they can replace it with a more generic red card while keeping many pieces that already work with this archetype. So in this case, it just became a thing where it was like, you know what? Instead of making 18 erratas to make this deck hopefully balanced or dreadfully underbalanced, let's just ban the leader. So with SS4 and just your Sin Shinron, you had a deck that was way too generic and a deck that was way too specifically powerful. Now we're going to move over to the Gammas. Gammas very much so fall into the former of those two categories, same as SS4 Goku and Vegeta. These are specific, like these are just off. I keep using the wrong words. These are actually just generically too powerful. The untapping, the 3 energy at the end of each turn is wild, but you cannot make good blue or blue-green androids without Gamma being able to look at it and go, do I eat today? And that is design space limitation. You do not want to go the rest of the game because they're going to make more androids. They are always going to make more androids between Cell, between 17 and 18, between the Gammas themselves. They're always going to make new androids, and anytime they fall into green or blue, they have to be cross-referenced with Gamma, and that's just too much to trip over as they make new sets. Now, I do want people to understand that with the banning of these leaders, SS4, Goku, and Vegeta, and Gamma, you have to understand that for the doomsayers to say this game is dying, this game is not dying anytime soon. If they felt like this game was dying in the next set or two, they would not care about banning leaders like SS4s or Gammas, because these are specifically leaders that hurt the game's longevity because they limit design space in the future. Just not happening. Game makes money. Enough money for them to keep going. Now the next band, SS4 Gogeta Triumphant Together. I don't even think I really need to talk about this one too much. Like, it literally cannot be affected by other cards. Like what? And on top of that, it's got triple strike and blocker and deflect, but it can't be affected by other cards. It's a forward cost, but you're drawing one, and your opponent can only use super combo. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they made this card in the first place. Like, it's just stupid that a card could just wreck your entire board and then just still stand out ready to either triple strike your leader or I don't know, block. Yeah, nah. There's no fancy over the top explanation. This card just needs to go. And then you have Dirty Burst. Dirty Burst is going to be a weirder card. A lot of people aren't really feeling the fact that it's gone, but a lot of people are feeling the fact that it's gone. Dirty Burst is a card that it made blue very much so a little too strong at stopping the boss cards, because this hits so many high boss cards. Because the way Bandai tends to do Dragon Ball is that the best boss cards are 7, 8, 9 costs, but they get cheated out for 2, 3, maybe 4. And this is because most destruction effects stop around 6 costs for free outside of green. Now green can just point and click through barrier, but most cards have to have some mad stipulations to start being able to hit things that are 7 or higher. So Dirty Burst was the way to stop a lot of cards. A lot of cards also get effects when they come into play or when they swing, meaning that as long as they land and you swing, you're getting that auto. As long as they land period, you're getting that auto. Well, this card is going to be able to stop these things from swinging in the first place, so it's one of the few cards that circumvened a lot of effects, and only one color had access to it. But this card was so strong, it was worth splashing blue to get things like Sensumi before it was nerfed, or Dirty Burst in there. So Dirty Burst was a very powerful defensive card, limited to one color, and it gave that color kind of an unfair defensive advantage. Very easy to side into, very easy to main, because it has 2 good effects, counter attack as well as the counter play. So this card is just one of those cards that's way too versatile, and it just kind of needed to roll on out. So yeah, real quick, gonna take a quick little break just to talk to you guys about my sponsor, Mystic TCG, one of the best places on the planet to buy your cards, whether it be sealed, things you're pre-ordering like the current Zenkai 04 set that you can still pre-order right now, or go into their TCG player page where you can buy singles at some of the best competitive prices. Using my TCG player affiliate link in the description would be nice, but really it's just one of the better places you can go to do that. And they also buy collections via their Facebook page Messenger. So let me just roll that ad real quick and then we'll get right back to the video. So let's talk about Mystic TCG, your one-stop shop for all your TCG needs. On the site, you can buy or pre-order plenty of sealed product for plenty of games. Just make sure though, if you're pre-ordering, to give it 3 to 4 months in advance to start looking, because sometimes the product is indeed hot, supply and demand, you know. And then if you want to buy singles, go on tcgplayer.com. There's going to be a link in the description where you can buy for the best value. And if you want to sell cards or collections, you can message them on their Facebook site so you can get the best bang for your buck on any type of way you want to buy or sell cards. And then while you're at it, you can use the code UNIXTCG at checkout to get even more of a discount. So hey, what are you waiting for? Check out Mystic TCG today. So then you actually have this Zeno card, and it's actually really funny. They basically added a stipulation on errata, because that's where we are right now, erratas, that changed it to pretty much all to like, I think 18 or more like god cards. It's crazy. I'm not even reading this one off the rip. Why? Because this is just insane. They turned this card from like a god tier destroyer of entire archetypes single-handedly. Don't bring your god type cards out to play because Zeno will wreck them all, to a literally unplayable card, like an actual like 2-cent card out of its pack. It's actually insane. This card literally could have been leader locked to like Zeno and Great Priest as an errata, and those decks suck, so it would have been very much so cool to have them have such a uniquely powerful card. But no, this card is now useless. Don't ever look at it again. And then next, there are like 18,000 different erratas that I could go into, but I will not, because basically there's just a bunch of translation issues, and that'll happen. You guys have to remember that Bandai is a Japanese company, and there is not like an English HQ for the card game side over here. So sometimes there will be that. I hope this doesn't ever happen again, because I've never seen that many day one erratas from this game in its history. But that being said, it is what it is. It's not going to stop me from playing this game, and I am very excited to play Gohan. You might even see me at Gen Con with it. You guys seem to react to those pretty well. So with that being said, I want to bid you guys farewell. That was my ban list video. Very light work, but you guys said you wanted it, so I gave it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and like I said, if you want to join the new Facebook page, that'll be in my link tree down there. I'll put it in the description as well, just to have it. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up, and I will see you guys next time you decide to join Universe X. Later.